What really surprised me is that the reality was both different and greater than the dream.
Where would we be without idealists? With the passing of Shimon Peres, there is pretty much nobody left from the founding of that country. He served a very important function as being, in effect, the leader of the peace faction within the Israeli government. And I don't think he ever abandoned that. My name is Clyde Haberman, and I was the New York Times bureau chief in Jerusalem from 1991 to 1995. At the beginning of his career, Shimon Peres was a close aide to Israel's first president, David Ben-Gurion. He was at Ben-Gurion's side on most key arrangements, including a lot of Israel's arms acquisitions. He was, like much of the country, much more hawkish in those years.
The Israelis strike, they say, to end once and for all bloody border raids by Egyptian suicide commandos.
He believed very strongly that Israel needed an absolutely airtight, powerful defense, and that included nuclear capabilities. He was a prime architect of Israel's nuclear weapons program, the development of its bomb, so to speak. As a leader of the Labor Party in the late 60s and early to mid-70s, he was influential in expanding the Israeli presence in the West Bank and also in the Gaza Strip.
Now, on the hills of Judea, not only do we have to have new settlements, but we have to settle them in a new way.
But I think he evolved into realizing that Israel's continued settlement of the Palestinian territories would lead to untold sorrow for Israel in the very long run.
I would like to see a situation whereby the most populated areas on the West Bank will go back to Arab rule, that we won't be their governors.
He evolved into realizing for there to be truly peace, there had to be a two-state solution to it, clearly defined borders, the Palestinians on one side of the line, if you will, and the Israelis on the other side of the line. And so the very settlements that he and the Labor Party had developed came back to haunt him.
What we are doing today is more than signing an agreement. It is a revolution.
The Oslo Accords gelled fully in the summer of 1993 under the tutelage of Shimon Peres, who was then the Israeli foreign minister. Peres had to deal with a hesitant Yitzhak Rabin, who was the prime minister at the time of the Oslo Accords. Rabin was a little slow to come around to accept them, but once he did, he proceeded full bore into talks with the Palestinians. In 1994, he, Yitzhak Rabin, and Yasser Arafat, the PLO leader, won the Nobel Peace Prize. It was impossible not to feel hopeful that Israel and the Palestinians had achieved a psychological breakthrough, recognizing the other was not going away, and that they had to figure out how to live together. It seemed that it was all doable. Turns out we were wrong. I don't believe that Peres could have persuaded enough Israelis that he truly had Israel's security firmly at heart and not some sort of lofty goal of peace that may or may not have been truly attainable. He indeed never outright won an election on his own. The one time where it looked like Peres would win on his own was in 1996, after the death of Yitzhak Rabin, a country still in mourning over that horrible event. And it looked like he would beat Benjamin Netanyahu reasonably easily. Turned out he lost narrowly. The Peres legacy will continue on several fronts. By Israelis, he'll be remembered as, to some degree, an architect of their nuclear program. He also truly believed that a genuine peace between Israel and its neighbors was not only possible, but absolutely necessary for Israel's own survival. He pursued that to the very end.
I'm retiring from my post as a president, according to the law, but I'm not retiring from the battle for peace. It is dear to me today as ever.